looked across to the side here, and Serge was bent over, throwing up. He was bleeding. He was crying. And as the coach, I looked over at my player, and he looked back at me and said, "Coach, this is the greatest moment of my life." And I looked, and then I looked, and there was just mayhem everywhere. Hundreds of people going crazy. Is that me? And then right there in front of me, parting of the waves, there's this 350 pounds worth of football coach heading towards me. Bodies everywhere, everyone going nuts, and he's running at me, and his arms are opening up, and I'm thinking, if I don't get out of the way right now, I'm going to be dead. And he come right into me, and he bear hugged me, picked me up like a rag doll, spun me around, threw me down, and said, "Coach, that was..." I'm not allowed to use the words that he used, but he was basically celebrating as well, and it was going on everywhere. You see, we were playing against the University of Redlands. We were Whittier College. And in the previous decade, Redlands have beaten us 21 games on the run. And in the last 6 games, they've beaten us by a total of 24 goals to 1. We've just beaten them. We've just beaten them in overtime. And Serge Jovanovic, a freshman that I recruited from Yugoslavia, he scored the winning goal. He's only been in the country 2 weeks. Over the time we've played against Redlands, as I said, they've beaten us 21 times, 24 goals to 1 in the last 6 games. They're 7 times current conference champions. And their head coach, Ralph Perez, started his coaching career 36 years ago on this very field as a head coach for Whittier. Most decorated coach in U.S. soccer history. We've just beaten this team. He came over in the craziness and just said, "Well done, son." He's a class act, is Ralph. So how did we do this? How did we turn this team around? So I'm going to go back a couple of years to how it started. I was hired by Whittier as the 5th coach in 5 years. Didn't have time to recruit players. So my recruitment was walking around campus, and anyone who looked like they had any athletic ability whatsoever, my question was, did you play club soccer? Did you play high school soccer? Did you play AYSO soccer? At any point in your childhood, did a soccer ball get kicked into your backyard? And if it did, you're on the team August 25th. So I stole a cross-country recruit, I stole a lacrosse player, a tennis player, anything I could get so that on the 25th of August for the new season we had a team. Typically a roster is 30 players. We had 17 show up. And got them together, picked 2 teams, rolled a ball out and said, "Play, let's see what we've got." And my girlfriend's in the bleachers. I'm 41, she's 29, former college player herself, former college coach herself. 30 seconds into the scrimmage, I turned to her in the bleachers and I said, "Do you have any eligibility left?" She said, "I've got 2 years. I said, "Great, get down to admissions now, sign up for 12 hours worth of classes, you're playing." She's like, "Okay." And I said, "And while you're down there, I've got a year left. Sign me up for 12 hours with classes. I'm 41, but I'm playing." So that was the team that we had. It was literally the Bad News Bears. The previous coach had scheduled a game in Colorado, a preseason game. So we got flown there, lambs to the slaughter, and we got beat 9-1 in Colorado. We came back, opening game of the season conference, we're playing CMS, Claremont Mudd Scripps. Their head coach has been building this program for 8 years. He played for the U.S. men's national team in the World Cup. He captained the LA Galaxy. He was the first professional player from the U.S. to play in Japan. And there we are. Let's go play him. About 2 minutes before the buzzer at halftime, I turned to the same girlfriend and said, "Start the car." She's like, "What?" I said, "Start the car." I said, "When this buzzer goes, if I start walking back nice and slowly and kind of do a kind of this and get to the parking lot, we can get in the car, we're done, we're out of here. I can't handle a whole season of 6-0 at halftime. I can't do it." She's like, "You're staying." Second half, we only got beat 2-0, so we lost 8-0. So we've gone 9-1, 8-0. This is what we've got. And I'm there in a suit, the only guy in the conference wearing a suit, because that's the standard I was setting. It's going to be a long season. So how did I turn this program around, and how can you relate to this? So I did 3 things that you can apply to your lives and your business. The first thing, the only thing I could do the first season was set the standards for appearance, work rate, timeliness, discipline, and I did that. So that's all I did. That's the only thing I could do. I couldn't teach them to be soccer players. I was the only part-time coach in the conference. Every other coach was full-time. So and I can talk to you later how I set all these standards, but that was the first thing I did. So you can do the same for your business or your life. What are my standards from this moment onwards? Appearance, timeliness, work rate, attitude. The second thing I did was I had to give them a goal. So my goal was simple. We're just going to win the entire conference in 4 years. We're going to win the conference in 4 years. We're going to beat every single one of these teams. I gave them the goal, and I broke it down, and I also needed to give them a culture. I needed to give them a personality to the team. So Whittier College, we're bottom of the conference. We're getting our butt kicked every single game. We were purple, not a good soccer color, purple. And we're called, if anyone's familiar, the Poets. All right, so that's not a good, that doesn't instill fear in the opposition. We were purple, we're called the Poets, and we always get beat. So I had to turn that around in my first year. So I had to get us a bit of a swagger, a bit of nastiness, a bit of the British humor, a bit of the British, fighting mentality, and basically said from this moment onwards, come and play us again. Fighters, no one will outwork us, no one will ever want to come and play us again. Because when they looked at the schedule, it was always 2 wins. They'd look, oh yeah, win-win. We've already got those wins in the bag. So I said, when they leave our field, they might have beat us 4-0, it doesn't matter. But they'll never want to come back. Because we're going to be the nastiest, hardest working, aggressive, pain in the butt to play against. That's the only thing I could do my first year. I managed the entire season in 5-minute chunks. I would stand there, again, the only coach in a suit, and I'd look at the clock and go, right, in the next 5 minutes, if we can just not concede a goal, brilliant. And I'd go, yes, we got through 5 minutes. Then we might lose a goal. Then we might lose another goal. Let's get another 5 minutes. I had to sell little wins. So when I went in the locker room at halftime, we're getting beat 4-0, but that last 5 minutes was unbelievable. So that's all I could do the whole time, the whole season. We got a win against Pomona. In the dying seconds, Joey Gelaro went up for he put his head on the line. He ended up we had him in the medical room afterwards at Pomona, stapling his head together. But he did that so we could get that win. So I had something then. I had something to work with. That's the standard. That's the heart that we need, Joey Gelaro. So we did that. Second year was a tough year because the honeymoon period had gone, and then the other coaches knew that I kind of knew what I was doing. So they took us more serious. And then the third year is when it all happened. So the 3 things I did and again, you can do this, attitude, work rate, heart, passion, all that good stuff. You've heard all this before. A goal for 4 years from now, break it down to each season, each practice session, each 5 minutes. I said to the players in practice to say, hold on, bring it in. Do you think University of Redlands is doing this right now at practice? Are they working like this, or are they at another level? You're right, coach. Boom, let's go to that level. The third year, I brought the talent in. I scoured the world. I got New Zealand, England, Scotland, Italy, Brazil, Mexico, El Salvador. I brought this world team. And do you know what my recruitment pitch was? Brilliant. Come to LA. David Beckham's here, so it must be good. The players get to go to class in flip-flops in January, and it's just like Baywatch. It's just like Baywatch living here. I recruited a player that had been offered 28 scholarships, and I got him with my Baywatch pitch. So that's what I had to do. And then I brought in the players. First practice, third year. I'm in the track, back straight to the final lap. Serge Jovanovic. I always get emotionless because it was so changing. He's down the back stretch, and he's light years ahead of the rest of the players. And I turned to Jerome, my conditioning coach. I said, our job's done. We're done. Brought the players in, and I said, okay, boys, this is the standard that you got to get to. Here's Serge. This is it. So the whole place, instead of the coach saying it, Serge did it. So the players got to that standard. We ended up, we beat every team. We went on a 16-game unbeaten run. We made the playoffs. We put the most players on the conference all-star team or all-conference team than any other school. And we did it by doing those three things. And that's how I want you to learn to go from where you are to thrive. Set your standards that you can immediately do tonight. Then have the goal and break it down to what you're going to do each day or each game or each practice session like what I did. And then go get the talent. Because the mistake we make as business people, if I was the head coach and tried to be the goalkeeper and the defender and the midfielder and the trainer and the referee, I can't do it. There's a white line, 4 inches. I'm not allowed to cross that anymore because I don't play anymore. So I had to assemble the team and the talent. So you guys can assemble outsource your talent, your partners, your mentor, whatever you need to do. And I'm just going to finish with this quote that I didn't know at the time, but when I read this quote, it's exactly what we did at Whittier, and I use this quote in my business from now onwards. You may want to write this down. It's from a gentleman called Blair Warren. I don't know who he is. Never met him. He's not a soccer guy. But this is what he said. He said, people will do anything for those that encourage their dreams, justify their failures, encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemy. So I justified their dreams. We're going to win. We're going to beat every team. They thought I was nuts at first, but that's justifying their dreams. Confirm their suspicions. I told them that everyone thought we were a joke. We wore purple. We were called the Poets. They already thought they were going to win. They didn't even bother warming up to play us. Allayed their fears. They really didn't have any fears because they had no idea what they were doing, so that's fine. And then help them throw rocks at their enemies. So I basically told our team, when that team arrives at Whittier College, they're the enemy. They're wearing the wrong colored uniform. They've no right to be on our pitch. When they have our ball, we go get it. And we're going to beat every single one of them. And that's what we did. Thank you.